The fire is dying. You can feel it. The warmth pulling back like a tide. The shadows creeping closer across the frozen ground. You're small, maybe 4 years old. You don't know the word for fear, but your body knows it. And then, out of the darkness, something breathes beside you. Something warm. Something with teeth. You don't run. You lean in. That memory doesn't belong to you. But it belonged to someone. And it changed the entire course of human history. We've been told that wolves are predators. That humans and wolves exist on opposite sides of an ancient line. One civilized, one wild. We tell children stories where the wolf is the villain. Big, bad, dangerous. But here's what those stories never told you. For tens of thousands of years, the line between wolf and human wasn't just blurred. In some places, it didn't exist at all. What you're about to hear isn't mythology. It's the story of how wolves didn't just live beside early humans, they helped raise them. And how that relationship didn't weaken our species. It made us who we are. Go back 30,000 years. Not to a city, not to a village. To a stretch of Eurasian steppe so vast it swallowed the horizon whole. The wind here doesn't whisper, it cuts. Temperatures dropped to -40 in winter. Food was measured in days, not seasons. A band of Homo sapiens, maybe 20, maybe 30 people, moved across this landscape in tight formation. Children stayed in the center. Elders watched the edges. And running along the perimeter, with amber eyes and gray fur matted with frost, were wolves. Not attacking. Not being chased. Just running alongside. This wasn't accidental. This was a negotiation 30 millennia in the making. In 2017, anthropologist Pat Shipman at Pennsylvania State University published research that reframed everything we thought we knew about human-wolf contact. Shipman argued that early modern humans gained a decisive survival advantage over Neanderthals, not because of better tools or bigger brains, but because of wolves. She called them animal allies. Her analysis of sites like Předmostí in the Czech Republic, dating to around 27,000 years ago, revealed skulls of proto-dogs deliberately placed alongside human remains, buried with us, not beside us. But that wasn't the detail that stopped researchers cold. It was what was found inside those skulls. Mammoth bone fragments. Meat. Someone had fed these animals. Carefully. Intentionally. Someone had decided these wolves were worth feeding when food was nearly impossible to find. And that single decision, that act of radical generosity in the middle of an ice age, raises a question that science is only now beginning to answer. Why? Because wolves didn't just hunt with humans. They taught us things we didn't know we needed to learn. Wolves are pack animals with a communication system of extraordinary complexity. They read body language across distances. They assign roles. They coordinate. And early humans, already social, already intelligent, began to mirror that behavior. Anthropologists now believe the relationship accelerated human development in ways we can measure. Our eyes changed. Humans are the only primates with visible white sclera. The white around the iris. And one leading hypothesis is that it evolved to communicate with dogs, giving us a shared language of gaze. Our oxytocin response changed. Today, looking into a dog's eyes triggers the same neurochemical bond as looking into the eyes of a human infant. That's not cute. That's coevolution. Two species rewiring each other at the biological level. But the most radical claim, the one that mainstream archaeology spent decades avoiding, is this. Some human children didn't just grow up beside wolves. They were raised by them, not in folklore, in documented behavior. Ethologist Jean-Claude Armen spent years in the 1970s observing a boy living among gazelles in the Sahara. Researchers in India documented feral children raised in wolf dens as recently as the 20th century. Children who moved on all fours, who howled, who had no fear of wolves but fled from humans. The most documented case is that of Dina Sanichar, found in a wolf den in Uttar Pradesh in 1867. He ate by tearing meat from bones with his teeth. He never learned to speak, but he lived. He survived conditions that would have killed most adults. The wolves had kept him warm through winters, fed him, protected him. A predator, by every definition, had chosen to nurture a human child. That choice deserves more than a footnote. Here is what that tells us. Domestication was never something humans did to wolves. It was something wolves and humans did to each other. The wolf that crept toward a human fire 30,000 years ago wasn't being tamed. It was making a choice. And the human who didn't throw a stone, who instead reached out a hand, who let a wolf sleep beside the children because the children stayed warmer, that human was also making a choice. Two species at the edge of survival, gambling on each other. That gamble became the longest partnership in the history of life on Earth. It built our immune systems, our social structures, our capacity for interspecies trust. We didn't just domesticate wolves. They domesticated us. Think about the dog sleeping at your feet right now, or the one you pass every morning on your walk. That animal isn't a pet in the way we typically mean it. It's the living endpoint of a 30,000-year relationship. A covenant made in ice and firelight between two kinds of beings who had every reason to fear each other and chose instead to stay. You carry that choice in your biology. In the way your eyes seek out a dog's gaze, in the warmth you feel when one rests its head in your lap. That feeling isn't sentiment, it's memory. Ancient, cellular, earned. The question isn't whether wolves shaped us. The question is, what else might we become if we stopped assuming that the creatures beyond our circle are threats and started asking what they have to teach us?